Hey, I'm not a Warhammer player, but I'm gonna change that. I'm Harry. I haven't played Warhammer since 8th edition 40k. I want to connect back with the hobby through the YouTube community. So for some starting energy, I've been collecting books that bring me inspiration, and that's what drew me to
Realm of Chaos.
These are Games Workshop's greatest creation, a collection of true, free-range creativity, with ideas oozing out of every page and every border. This is what I think of when I think of chaos. I've been collecting some of the original Realm of Chaos miniatures. These old, carefully hand-sculpted characters have such a good energy in them. So now I've got the urge to make models, and whenever I make models, I love to use my favourite tool. Kitbashing is just problem solving with shapes. It's so satisfying to find two pieces that are completely unrelated and marry them together to make something new. My kitbashes use anything I can get my hands on, from beads to charity shop angels and bits of packaging. Kitbashing is how I make models without breaking the bank. And once you start kitbashing, you just can't help but see every kit as bits you could use in other projects. Each of my bits has a story. The people I went out to get them with, or the lives they led before they got to me, and kitbashing lets you use those stories to make a new one. Chris Cooksey was my go-to for inspiration on these nights, to make weird religious war machines that I could call Chaos or Loyalist. I'm making a Nurgle army, that way I can play any game, from 40k to the old world. I've got a little army list at the moment, it's just some units I think look cool. I want to capture the nonsensical nature of Hieronymus Bosch, along with the variety and scale on one base, just like the old Nurgle artworks. My bases are multi-layered, trying to emulate a hell similar to John Martin's Paradise Lost. I'm going for a dead, barren world, with weird, twisty tree motifs, like the feculent Nalmor. To make the trees, I start with twisting a long length of wire on itself, cutting the ends to make the roots and branches. There's loads of different methods to fill in the gaps between the wire, but I wanted a specific look, so I decided to use it as an armature to sculpt on. Tamiya putty made the best texture for soft green stuff to stick to, and it also filled in the 3D printed texture on this skull I got at the Leeds Golf Market. I was constantly checking my sculpting against a reference, to get the wonky growth lines just right. I'm still not sure how to get the bark texture feeling more interesting, so any tips would be super helpful in the comments. My flies follow generic chaos archetypes, a knight, a heavy, and a demon. My favourite is the strange Pegasus with a little demonic knight on it. I wanted as much variety in my units as possible so that I could field an entire army of weird little guys. Green stuff is something I'm re-warming up to, so I'm waiting to sculpt some freaky faces on these heads. When I'm making a miniature, I often sketch. I take a few bits that look interesting and use those shapes to generate some new ideas. The sketches never have to be cohesive, they just help me visualise what's in my brain before I glue it together. For my Blobe Rot Spawn, I wanted to use the Goth Market skull and a Cruel Boys creature as the mount. This model was pretty unbalanced, so I started on the base pretty early on. My bases are often cork towers with orchid bark as the main structure, then I fill out the base with milliput, which I texture with the side of some cork, or I'll sculpt some fleshy textures into it. Once it dries, I use wood glue and different sizes of sediment to add texture. Then I'll sculpt any trees or texture that needs adding over top, and add some tiny little groblins and creatures to give a sense of scale. My miniatures have always had banners. They're my chance to give a unit some character, and let any unit be clearly visible from tabletop distance, while still making a unit of weird things look cohesive. For these, I heated up some plasticard using a lighter. But be sure to do this with plenty of ventilation. While using fire on your miniatures is metal! It's also very smelly. I really like where this army is headed, and I can't wait to field them against an opponent. If you're in Yorkshire and willing to teach a newbie the ropes, I'd love to get involved in your hobby spaces. Just let me know in the comments what you want to see from this army, and I hope you enjoyed watching my process. I'm going to keep making more of these, so subscribe to see what's next, and I'll see you around.
It can mean only one thing. The Hive Tyrant is dead.